Education to test. Alrighty. I got it. So this is our cash money matcha almond milk. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Cash money matcha. Is it on the menu?
No, it's not. So it's
I was about to say.
I'm like, that sounds like I didn't see it.
Yeah. Getting it all exclusive.
What brings you to the neighborhood today?
I go right here to this.
Okay, in the church.
Stretch you some.
Okay. Destiny.
Destiny and her mom Michelle. Yeah.
So what's your name?
Cassie.
Jamin.
Nice to meet you.
We'll be expanding to our later hours in December.
You're expanding to later hours. What's later hours?
So we're closing at 5. Right now we close at 3 Monday through Friday, 4 on Saturdays.
Oh yeah, I'm real late. Okay.
Would you like a receipt?
So what made you want to start a coffee business?
For me, it was mostly wanting to start a business and be in business with my brothers, my family, our friends, the folks that we had spent our time with, what we wanted to spend our time with. After college, you go right into corporate America or into your job or profession, some folks professional school, but you go into a space where you're isolated. You're away from your community, the people that you spent your time with, the folks that you have kinship with, the people that you align with, to go try this new path and journey. And a lot of times you find yourself in spaces that aren't reflective of you, the culture you come from, that don't feel as supportive as the spaces that you want to be in. And so when you do, when you work, then you get a weekend off, you run to your friends, you guys go on a trip, you guys plan a vacation, and it's in the group chat, planning your trips. You're going with, for us, we were doing that, going to All-Star Weekend, going to big games, going to weddings, family reunions and stuff like that. But it's like I'm working 365 or however many days a year to get a couple trips to spend this time with these people. It's like, no, this isn't what we really wanted. This isn't what we thought it would be. So it's like, okay, we need to create something, an entity that made us spend more time together. That started as an investment club, helping us become financially secure with each other, an intimate, so to speak, and helped us start investing in the markets. We give each other homework. So me and my partners at the time, we're all Xavier graduates, and this kept us communicating via Google Meet at the time. We said, okay, this is good, but it's not enough. We were inspired, honestly, the real genesis to kick that off was that we were in Detroit, Michigan, on a trip to celebrate my CFO's younger brother getting his doctorate from Michigan State. Yes. And so while we were there, we took a tour of Motown, the Motown Museum. And for those that don't know, this legendary record label Motown was responsible for the Jackson 5, the Supremes, Diana Ross, Smokey Robinson, you name it. When the music that came out of a certain era that shaped music and culture and generated billions and just change in revenue. Right. This record label all started with Berry Gordy and his family. He, in order to start that record label, at the time, he couldn't get a loan from the bank. He couldn't get an angel investor or underwriters or venture capital. He had to go to his family, and he borrowed $800 because his family had a family savings and loan program. They would pool their resources into a pot, and that anyone in the family at any time could come and borrow money for a project. If they need to get a suit for a new job, if you want to launch your own business, you can borrow money from the family savings and loan. You had to repay that, but this is an entity or a vehicle for them to start. That one vehicle created Motown, which shaped the music industry that we have today.
Yeah.
So for us, that was like, okay, this is the moment of inspiration. We don't know what we're going to do, what we're going to create, but it's going to take money. And here's the model. We put our money into a pot, we invested, we figured it out. So 2 years after doing that, we started with a group of about 7, got down to a group of 4, eventually got back to 5. With investing money, giving each other homework, and being, financially intimate. That led to a moment of, okay, we're creating this fund, but what can we do with it, right? We can invest in nonprofits. We can go to low-income youth and try to buy them backpacks and tools and things they need. But that's not only that won't have the maximum impact that we were looking to have. It's like we can do more. And honestly, it's not going to change a person's life unless you can be in that life day to day. The entity that we realized that you can be in a person's life day to day was a business.
Right.
A business entity, a for-profit entity where you are interacting, exchanging goods or services, but you're creating something. For me, I was like, okay, this is what we're talking. Now you're using this is speaking my language. Let's start a business, but what type of business? We gave each other homework, said, okay, let's research different industries and figure it out. One call, a Google call, I was in California, partner in Atlanta, partner in DC, partner in Seattle at the time, and another in LA. And we were all on the call doing the same thing while we were trying to figure out what it was, the business industry that we were going to go on. All of us were doing the same thing. Anybody guess what we were doing on that call?
Researching businesses, potential business options.
It was something even simpler than
Industries
that.
and maybe industries or
We were physically doing something in the moment that we were talking to each other on this conference
drinking
call.
coffee. Yeah, yeah.
We were all had cups of coffee because it was early Saturday morning. We had to squeeze in the meeting before your day start. What do you start your day with? Coffee. So my partner, Dr. Leonard Lightfoot, said, why don't we look into coffee? For me, I was like, bro, I want to do a black business, right? This is in 2018, or 2017, excuse me, right on the heels of 45's beginning of his administration. We're all hyper vigilant about making sure we're supporting our culture. I want to start a black business. Why do I want to get at the time, I'm like, coffee to me, I'm thinking Starbucks, I'm thinking Dunkin' Donuts, I'm thinking Juan Valdez, I'm thinking Columbia. Little old me had not done his research to discover that this industry, coffee, this industry that's old as most other modern, it's started with us. This whole modern coffee industry all started with black people. It started in Ethiopia. The plant species comes from Ethiopia. It was taken and transplanted around the world to Brazil, to Colombia, to Jamaica, to Hawaii, Guatemala, you name it. That plant began in Ethiopia and it was transplanted by settlers who came to Africa and saw people utilizing a crop for their own needs and their families, took that plant and created it in modern industry, right? So if you look at the coffee industry today, if you go around the world, majority of the farmers are black and brown, but the majority of the C-suite owners, CEOs, it's going to be black coffee boards.
Love it.
We got a lot of pushback at the time. Some of them folks were like, "Oh, you want to call it me?" I was like, "Oh wow, I want to call it." This is like a stolen legacy, spelled out, no abbreviations, no. It's reclaiming an industry that began with us. So I said, "Okay, well." And while we were still debating amongst our team, I went and purchased a website domain, got all our social media handles, and on February 1st, 2018, Black History Month, the Black Coffee Company was born.
That's dope. Now, what made you guys initially, like how much and how did you know how much you guys were going to invest per person, per month? Was it a percentage? Like, how did you even get to that point?
We wanted to make it so, we didn't want to make it hard. People make investing, they make it hard. They try to make it some of this big thing that they can't figure out. So we said, let's start simple. $50 a month.
Really?
Which is literally $12, like whatever, $12.50 a week. If you can't spend $12 and set aside $12.50 a week, you don't want to do this.
Got it.
Because you spend $50
on
step
food.
That's not the store. I spend $50, right?
Right.
So we said let's reduce barrier to entry, $50 a month. So everybody couldn't do that though. So I told you we started with 7, we got to 4. And it wasn't about the amount of money, it was a decision like, oh, do I want to put my money there?
Really?
And honestly, that's what it comes down to, right? It comes down to my money, I don't know. What do we know? Like I don't trust. What we gonna do with it?
Yeah.
2 years later, we had invested in Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Mobileye, Tesla, a couple other.
Stocks.
We invested in the stock market.
Got it.
Said, let's take this money and put it in the stock market. Something simple. We weren't stock market geniuses. We weren't traders.
That's what I was gonna ask. Was it someone special that?
No one had a specialization in the market.
Okay.
At the time, we all had 401ks, right? A Vanguard account. So this made us get into the stock market. It made us get into investing. Made you and that investment mindset is how we got into the business because we were looking into industries that had long width, long breadth.
Yes.
They're not quick. It's not a trend. It's not something that's gonna come and go, fly by night.
Yeah.
It's a commodity that's sustainable. Something that has growth in it. If you look at the opportunity for the coffee industry, right now it's projected to make about $250 billion a year and continue to grow over the next 10 years and hundreds of billions of dollars as an industry, right? So it was like, wow, this is a space that we can absolutely enter and carve out our own niche because we had something that most people don't think about is our community.
That's
no
right.
one was at that time. It was very few that were really in the coffee industry that was going to hyper-focus on black people and black culture. And so that was a space where we wanted to get into and carve it out. So the first product we ever sold, after we launched that website in February 2018, we didn't sell coffee, we didn't have any merchandise. The first item we ever sold was this mug right here.
Interesting. Okay.
I love it. Let me see.
This is the first product we ever sold. It was on our website in March of 2018. And put it out, simple website, emailed all of our family and friends, my Xavier community, my high school family, and they loved it. Folks just embraced it. They said, I like that. We came up with a definite, what is woke? So we, creating our brand, we wanted to come up with words and phrases and ideals that, what did the Black Coffee Company mean, right? What are our pillars? Our pillars are entrepreneurship, financial freedom, and community empowerment, right? If you look at, you have to have an entrepreneurial mindset to create anything. That means looking into opportunities, entering in spaces where there's a need, right? What problem are you solving? In addition, you have to work with people. You have to figure out, no one's a solopreneur, whether you're a hairdresser or whether you're in a space where you think it's selling. You have to hire people to design your website, to help you produce your merch, do your stocking, whatever it is you do. You're gonna have to work with folks.
Right.
So that's having an entrepreneurial mindset. That's how you build your team.
Yeah.
2, once you have that, you have to have a strong financial backing. Because it takes money to be in business, to operate a nonprofit, to do anything in this world. You gotta have capital. So that's the financial freedom aspect, where you're budgeting, projecting, saving, and pooling your resources. Because you can get many hands working together, you can get much further than working alone. Lastly, when you have those 2 pillars right there, you can now empower the community. Now you can enter into a space and help others. I can come to you, I have resources, I have a team, we can solve a problem. And a problem specifically that we're solving here in this Lakewood Heights community, it was a food desert. In this space here, they didn't have access to a lot of good foods. There was a coffee shop, but there wasn't variety. There wasn't a different thing that's focused on our community, that a space where we could come in and immediately feel embraced. And that's the problem we solved in this community. And that's similar to what we want to do in communities across the country, right? We can go into spaces where it's urban or working class or people where they feel like they aren't being spoken to, and we bring them a brand that speaks to them.
That's dope.
And you're not only bringing them coffee, you're making them feel heard. You're really, giving them a space where they can have that community and speak amongst themselves and be surrounded by people that can relate to some of the struggles that they're facing, but serve coffee alongside that.
Let's break it down. It doesn't have to be some boardroom with suits and ties to conduct business. It's just simple as in providing a community need. You have entrepreneurs that come here to look for connections. You have the mayor's been here. Almost every city council member has been in this space. We hold late night. Folks can rent the space. If you're a community group, a nonprofit, we'll let you utilize the space for free for 2 hours in the evening to come have a community group. We bring in nonprofit groups throughout the day to hold different events. We've done youth mentoring and training. Like all the different things that we could do with this coffee shop and this brand is just, it has invigorated me in terms of who I feel like I can become and what I can offer to the world.
Gotcha. Do you feel like you drink more coffee now?
Oh, absolutely.
So I see all these names, which some of them I absolutely love. I get some of them. So who decided that you guys should have these super creative names, and how did you come up with some of these?
So I listen, we have a wonderful team, amazing folks. I will say this, my wife created all our recipes.
Really?
Right? The recipes in terms of our drinks, and she's 90% of those. Now our team has come in and they've added elements and created and brought into it, helped elevate it. But she was the one who said, okay, let's have the avocado toast. Right, she was the one that said you had to have the espresso machine so we could serve lattes.
Yeah.
For me, I was going to do drip coffee and pots and food, man. We were going to pour overs and make it that way. But she said no, we have to have this, and she helped me elevate the palette and what we were offering. For me though, I said, okay, what's our differentiator? What makes my latte stand out versus that latte? Yeah, it can have more syrup, it can have this, but you got to have the hook. What's the thing? And that's where my marketing background comes from. I said, let's be a little more intentional. Let's rename all our drinks. I don't want to have a cappuccino. You can go get a cappuccino a billion places around here, but you can only come to Black Coffee get the no cap. I didn't want to do a vanilla latte. I didn't want to I didn't want to do the vanilla latte. Vanilla latte anywhere. You come here to get the light skin Keisha.
So what? So Big Lotto, is that new?
Yeah, no, Big Lotto's on the menu. Big Lotto's been on there for a while. That's another thing with our menu. We're in Atlanta, so we're not
That's
just
right.
celebrating our culture. We're celebrating Atlanta culture.
Yes.
So a lot of the people on the menu from our teas, you got the Andre. That's because the mayor came here, and we were trying to give him a latte. And he doesn't drink coffee. He says, "I drink tea." I said, "Okay, what kind of tea you like?" "I don't know, chamomile." I said, "Okay, well let me make you something." We made him a chamomile tea with agave and lavender. He said, "Oh, I got him on video. Like, oh, that's hitting." I was like, "Okay, that's the Andre."
Really?
Yes, and
I thought it was like Andre 3000. That's what I thought.
Most folks do think because he's probably the more popular Andre. No disrespect, Mayor Dickens. Same thing like so you all had our chai latte that we call the auntie, right? Because it makes you feel good, right? Everybody auntie make them feel good, unless you got an issue with her. But by auntie mostly make you feel good, right? So that's the same with the Killer Mike. Killer Mike, shout out to him. The Dirty South, our chai latte.
Cold World, Big Lotto, Brown Skin Girl, the Dirty South. I love them. So what's the Antonio? What is that?
The Antonio, so that's actually for Antonio Lewis, City Council member of District 12. He's been a day one supporter of us since we entered this community. When he was elected to City Council, he was celebrating his election night party here and watch party here. And we've worked with him numerous times on different ventures and projects in the city.
That's awesome.
So we can call that the Antonio. The marathon is for Nipsey Hussle. It's the Ethiopian pour over. It's the strongest coffee. It's the source. He comes from Eritrea. He comes from Ethiopia. So Ethiopian community.
What's your favorite?
My favorite on our menu.
The whole thing, the favorite thing.
I like everything. I'd say it varies. I go back and forth. I try everything. Right now, I'm really feeling a bag lady. I like green tea. I'm trying to switch off. I drink a lot of coffee, so I'm trying to try some other teas.
Yeah.
The bag lady, for those who don't know, that's the Erykah Badu.
Yes, Erykah Badu.
So everything has a little bit of element of the culture.
Wow. So you always have salmon, eggs.
Oh, our food. So this is specifically, I told my wife, I said, no. I'm like, avocado toast? I'm like, come on, they're not going to eat that here. This is our number one seller.
Really?
We call it the ATL. It's an avocado toast with, so it's sourdough bread, fresh avocados that we slice every day. And you get that with you can get it with egg, cooked however you want, smoked salmon, arugula, onions, tomato with a balsamic glaze and everything bagel seasoning. Absolutely delicious.
Wow.
Make you like avocado?
Yeah. Maybe here he would.
And then number two, it's going to be our bagel and bougie.
I was gonna say I would probably try it out.
The bagel and bougie for bad and bougie like the Migos. It's a cream bagel with cream cheese on it, salmon lox, everything bagel seasoning.
Wow, that's awesome. So you guys have your own like herbs, and do you grow any of your own stuff?
So we make our own our lavender syrup. That's in the light skin Keisha. It's a vanilla lavender latte with a honey drizzle. The lavender we make in-house is organic sugar, lavender leaves, and a lot of love.
Wow, and a lot of love. That's dope. You guys have any more questions?
Why is the last one discontinued?
You
I
know,
like these tea lines.
Out of all the questions, why isn't that one on the menu anymore?
It's the actual tea, the base that we make. We couldn't get it anymore. So and this menu is really old. So we're gonna be rolling out a new menu soon. So some of the drinks that you might have heard of, like our Cash Money Matcha, which is really, really popular in the community. It's not up there. We have the passion fruit based tea drink called the Thug Passion.
I love passion.
People love the Thug Passion. It's not up there. So we got
Matcha one that you just
we can put them on like little signs when we debut them. They come and hit. So now I just got to reprint another menu and get it out.
I need y'all to make frozen ones or something,
yeah, so
you can ship it to me. Cause
speaking of frozen, that's one of the things I talk about when Morehouse just changed the game. Like we didn't make frappuccinos and smoothies here.
Yeah.
It wasn't the community didn't ask for it, so we weren't gonna make it. Them boys and girls over there, young men and ladies, they love a sweet beverage. So we've been making smoothies. We got a drink called the Blacker the Berry. That's a raspberry, blackberry smoothie. We have our frappuccinos now. So the menu, we changed it based on what the
based on what you need, your customers' needs. Yep. That's dope.
And so the names over there are a little different too.
Really? So do they have any of these over there?
Yeah, they have the base. They have
Okay.
the most popular. You got the light skin quiche is a staple.
Did you guys, to ensure like the consistency of what you make, go over there and actually train them hands on?
I'm there. We're there. There are we've all those staff members. We've hand selected every staff member. The manager there is my wife's cousin. She moved from Los Angeles to come help
Really?
us start out that shop. She's actually staying with us to help us do it. She was there every day.
That's commitment.
My partner Chris, he's the night swing shift manager, so he's there every evening. We have some of our staff members here go to rotate over there, and they have them rotate back because this is one company, one culture. We're gonna have a little, yes, locally. There's gonna be we're gonna be more reflective of that space. So if we were in Houston, we're gonna have a little bit more Houston flair.
Yeah.
When we're in Detroit, we're gonna have some on there gonna be called Motown. Some gonna be on there after Berry Gordy. Some gonna be after all of that because it's all a part of our community, our brand.
Do you have an e-commerce site? Or is
Yeah, absolutely. TheBlackCoffeeCompany.com. That's the start of it all. That's the genesis. That's where we sold our first product, from this mug to now where we sell all our products, from our coffee beans, all our merchandise that I'm wearing, T-shirts, hats, you name it. Different coffees, wholesale. We wholesale to different companies around the world. We ship to Japan. We ship to the UK. It's just the main.
Canada. No.
Oh, absolutely. We've plenty of Canada since day one.
Good.
It's like the places I've never traveled to. Buffalo, New York. We got staple customers there that order every month. It's like this brand, this business has taken us places I will have never gone and never. And I have a saying that I kind of like quote that I developed based on my experiences, that coffee gets you a seat at every single table. Whether I'm at the boardroom, whether we in the break room, whether we on the docks, whether you long haul truck driving, they got coffee. It's gonna bring folks together.
It unites people, yeah.
It brings, and I've been able to leverage that for all the social enterprise work that we want to do for our own development as well.
Are you guys? I remember this discussion. What was it? Maybe last year. You were trying to do the pods. You guys, did you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have
I'm like
K-cups.
K something.
Yeah, we produce those.
I remember that
Houston,
discussion.
Texas team. We have a team full of young men and led by my brother out there in Houston, Texas, and one of our partners, Brandon Cole, based in Houston, Texas. They produce our K-cups for us. We ship these around the world. We ship these to our wholesale customers as well.
That's awesome. Let me see. Yeah, I remember they had samples come to us, and my husband was trying them out, and I'm like, "Do you like this one? Do you like that one?" So
Tradeshows, is that?
So we've
okay.
it's a coffee fest in New York. I think that was the last trade show that we participated in. We've done a lot of vendor fairs locally. Our biggest client this year has been Delta Airlines.
Really?
They've booked us 4 times from their annual leadership conference at State Farm Arena. Over 3,000 attendees over 2 days. We've been back to their headquarters now 3 different times for different employee recognition events. We were just there recently for a exclusive vendor fair. Only 6 vendors were invited to pitch to all their event planners and business leaders from different segments. So they're already booking us up. So I think we're going to double the amount of business that we did with them this year.
I mean, I'm impressed because I remember like the conversation. I've seen you guys on different podcasts as well. It's just to physically be down here. I was like, if it's gonna take an hour and a half to get over here, I'm gonna make it. So I wanted to kind of just quickly understand, like, because this setup to me is like homey, right?
Yes.
Whose idea? Like, how long have you guys been here? Like,
So it's this space. So one, it's a collaboration between me, my wife, and a lot of our baristas. It's my wife designed the space, and I kind of went aside and colored around the edges where I could. For example, this bar here is handcrafted by a carpenter, local Atlanta carpenter. He handcrafted this bar.
Wow.
He handcrafted that one, that tabletop over there. That was her choice. The paint, kind of the cement floor, that look was hers. Me, I had the color. I wanted the mural. She hates it, but for me, it's a staple here, and our community loves it. I felt like we were going to enter this space. We wanted to celebrate the leaders who had come before us and the people that were active at the time. But in the plants, that was another thing. When we operated this space, we didn't have furniture. When we first opened, I just needed to get the doors open. I was like, okay, we got to fill this space with things. So I'd never been a plant dad before, but I said we got to get some plants in here. So over the time, I learned how to care for them, take care of them. We host a lot of events, so people come in and they tell us what they need in terms of the setup, and we want people to come and feel homey. So it all like different seating arrangements for co-working, so people can come and stay. have a sense of place. But everything can be moved because we utilize the space as a venue as well. We rent it out in the evenings. Folks have held weddings. They've done graduation parties. So there's a 10,000 square foot event center next door. They can use our space as the bar, as the welcome space. There's recently a fashion show for LYS Beauty they did. They use this for their product space, for all their product drape place. It's amazing what they've done with it. It's 2,000 square feet, and it's allowed us to do so many different things. On top of that, one of the things I'm most proud of is our annual festival. It's called Black Coffee Fest.
I saw
We've done so far. We've done 3 festivals, all financed by our company. We've brought in different sponsors, but it's a free event to the community that we bring in over 50 vendors. We bring in keynote speakers. We host workshops on financial literacy, entrepreneurship, coffee, baristas class, cooking demos, you name it. Our keynote speakers this year were Corey Arbinger, CEO of Support Black Colleges, and John Hope Bryant, founder of Operation Hope, chairman and founder of Operation Hope. And every year it's like, how can we continue to pour into this community and give the best that we can?
When was the first year that you guys launched your festival?
2002.
Really?
2022, excuse me.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait.
2022
Yeah.
was year 1. 2023 was year 2. So 2001 we had Kezia and Rashad Ritchie. 2023 we had Rochelle.
But you still have the posters.
The banners, yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, it's like you go to the Forbes Arena. You're gonna look up. You're gonna see the Pistons championship banners, and for that, it's it's a celebration of what we accomplished. Each time that we've grown in terms of the attendance, we've gotten over 500 attendees. Most recently, that's our most recent festival. So it's kind of source of pride.
Are you in like a park doing it, or
No, we're
like
doing it right here. It's here.
Really?
So this space here is a 10,000
with
square
that
foot event
space.
center.
Okay.
Behind there, we have a huge private garden. So it's kind of the same length of the event center. So we're able to do kids activities, workouutes back there, bounce house. Like their chess club that meets here every Sunday.
Next door is their property?
Yeah, so this whole building is owned by a family. It's,
Gotcha.
And that's their property.
Okay.
But we rent it for this festival.
Got it. What was this before you guys came in here? What was this?
So this whole building was a church.
Really?
It was an old church that had been, and if you see over here on this wall, you'll see the actual plaques.
Oh yeah, I see it.
So this whole space was conceived of in 1904.
Wow.
And then the place was built in 1925. This whole building was built, so it's going to be 100 years old next year.
Wow.
This building, and it's an actual church, and it talks about the people who started it. Then another church inhabited it later on. Then it was vacant for a while, the old car lot. So the family saw it, they retrofitted it, came in, renovated it, and one of the things they knew they needed to have as a staple in the community was a coffee team. So they actually reached out to us online, but we didn't know who they were, never heard of them, so we ignored them. Then Killer Mike sent a DM and said, "Hey, have you heard of this? I need you to pay attention to them." And I said, "Okay."
Like they're legit.
Yeah. So when he said that, that's checked. That's the verified. And we reached out. A partner came. I came. And it's like, okay. We started to see the vision and we went after it. And then in order to build this place on our own, though, we had to reach out to our family and friends because we didn't have the funds. We had an investment fund, but it wasn't enough to build out our brick and mortar. It's taken over. So these people, the names on these 3 plaques are our round 1 through 5 investors. They all invested different sums of money. We've done 6 rounds to date. Our first 5 rounds, we raised over about $120,000. Round 6 that just closed this past January, we raised over $135,000 in that round alone. Thanks a lot part to a $25,000 investment by Operation Hope and a $50,000 investment by a private individual.
Wow.
But it's all thanks to the work, and we had to show and prove. Because a lot of things that we tried to do in our business was to create a business model that anyone can follow. Whether you're doing clothes, jewelry, a service business, whatever, it's going to take some core principles that have an entrepreneurial mindset. Then you have to focus on the financial side of it and what problem are you solving that helps empower the community, right? In any business, you have to have that core, and that's what we wanted to create. So when we built this business, we wanted to be very transparent about that. And the same thing about the investment side. We have to demystify this for our community, for us to grow. Well, in order for us to grow, we're going to have to get rid of some generational trauma and curses, like you can't invest with each other. That was the number one thing that we grew up with is that black folks in our community don't trust each other with money. I guess it's a thing that you don't do versus other communities, they're taught to do that from day one. There's
That's
vehicles
right.
and things that are set up where you are going to put into this so that it can sustain and create generational wealth. We have those mechanisms in our community, so we wanted to create something to demonstrate that. So round one, it was a 12-month term, 5% return, which is better than you can get in any savings account.
Wow.
And a guaranteed 12 months, so no minimum. We said, whoever wants to invest. So we got some as low as $100. I think the biggest investment was $1,500 that round. But we had I take it back. The individual investment was $15,000, but the biggest investment, and which really helped us kick things off, was a $10,000 grant that we got from the Bay Good Foundation. Beyonce was doing her.
I saw that on her. I'm like,
her Bay Good Social Impact Grant, and we won $10,000.
Beyonce fans.
So when we published that, we told people that, hey, Beyonce invested in us.
Then all of a sudden it just took off.
All of a sudden we started getting a lot of traction. For round one. So after that was complete, we did, okay, we've been painting some walls, we got more work to do. Round two, round three, round four, but it kept building traction because people were singing. And by round four, we'd already paid back rounds 1 and 2, and we had testimonials from people that said they are legit.
It's legit,
I
yeah.
gave them, I invested my money with them. They gave it back to me plus interest.
That's dope.
That is what it's about, right? So now you can reinvest that money, you can take it whatever else, but we have to do that for each other, and we can do that for each other once we trust and have some discipline and have communication and just get at it.
Wow.
So we've done that 6 times. So we have not paid back rounds 5 and 6 yet because those we learned something. Rounds 1 through 3 we were doing 12-month terms. I mean, we were in that money's coming in, it's going right back out eventually. Okay, this is not how most vehicles or most investments work. They give you a little longer reach. So by rounds 4 and 5, we said, okay, let's go to 24 months. Let's go to 36-month terms. We have more incentives for larger investments, etc. But we had to give ourselves more room in order to operate, to get the cash flow that we needed for the equipment, and then make the money so that we could reinvest. But it's been working for us. It's worked. We brought in a number of different grants as well. We've gotten loans, and we have a lot of opportunities for 2025. 2024 was crazy, and 2025 is going to be insane.
That's
You
dope.
mentioned that you also grew up in during COVID, right?
Yes.
And you really focus on social media marketing.
Yes.
Right now, how did that come to be?
In terms of, we couldn't afford traditional advertising
Right.
in media. Couldn't buy radio spots. Couldn't even get bus stop ads and billboards. So social media is one tool, it's free, but allows you to connect with so many people. And it's something I've always embraced, to being able to connect. Me and Raquel have been able, that's how we built a relationship. Even though you have things in common, you don't, not in the same space, but through showcasing your life and your goals and who you're working with, you find people that you align, and that a lot of people align with our values and our work ethic and what we support, and just continue to build that way. And so word of mouth has been the number one driver of success for our business.
And I think another thing is being a HBCU grad, especially like at Xavier, like that's like our family. So almost not every business, but almost any business, like somehow we're like, how do we support that person? How do we support that brand? And Xavier, for the most part, I think they support us pretty well. Like, hey, come do, like I seen people on the 40 under 40, which, I saw when I went to homecoming, I was like, not 40 under 40, it was the panel session.
Entrepreneur panel.
Yeah, it was an entrepreneur panel. So the students can see, and there's a lot of Xavier success, but Xavier's known for doctors, right? So business was like there when we were there, but it wasn't like the wow factor. So now there's so many more entrepreneurs that everybody is now like, hold on, Xavier's producing not only doctors, but doctors that own businesses, business people that own major firms and organizations, lawyers, so it's like powerhouses are coming out of there. So to have them come back and they're doing pop-ups and they're hitting each coast, and it's so dope. And then a lot of the stuff that we do is Black empowerment, right? And I think going to an HBCU that's like when it's almost like you're made there. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up in a predominantly white environment, right? So even though my whole family's from down here in the South, that was like a no-brainer for me. So it's kind of like, Then when I physically went down there, it was literally like night and day. To where some people went through like a culture shock, you know what I'm saying? Because they're like, I don't really know how to deal with me or us, right? The reason why it was easier for me though was because I spent every summer, every spring, every fall, every holiday I was down here. So it was different. So that's when I was like, I feel home, because at my house, I felt like I can't have conversations how I want to. I can't talk about, we're not learning half the stuff that we should learn. Versus you go to Xavier, you're like, or many other HBCUs, but specifically I can only speak for Xavier. You learn so much. So to see like these businesses just explode, and it's giving back to the communities. They're in the hearts of the Black areas, whether it's Detroit, Atlanta, LA, you know, it is DMV area. It's just Houston. It's just so dope. And I think that also other students or like high school students, whatever, they see it also. That's why HBCU enrollment has just gone crazy, because it was so like, shh, don't tell nobody, you know, versus like, don't tell anybody HBCUs have created NFL players. Don't tell anybody that they created the #1 doctors. Don't tell everybody that they created #1 engineers. Don't tell everybody, you know, to where now it's like, no, we're not going to be quiet. This is like our legacy. This is our business. This is what we do. And now everybody was like, it's the woke moment, right? It's like, dang. So now, and then you have people like, you know, it's just for people to look up and have mentors. And then this, I think our generation is one of the most powerful to give back, to say, I want to lead you and lift you up and teach you. Because I think the older generation was so like hush hush, and like, you're like, what do you do? Like, and they're like, no. You know, it was more like, and I would say, honestly, the baby boomers, right? We're not really ones to teach as much. I think we are more instructors and teachers and mentors, I think, in any other generation. And I think that's what's booming in the Black community, is we're finally like, no, let's uplift us, because we've been left behind, honestly, by ourselves. So much. Like, you go into the Jewish community, the Jewish have always stuck by. They've been through horror and all that kind of stuff as well. You go through the Asian community, you go through the Indian, literally everywhere. Even if you go back to Africa, you know, you see a whole different vibe. So it's us here in like the U.S. I feel like it's the
culture. We were not
didn't get it.
To value our culture here.
Right.
We were taught to assimilate to American culture. That's what
right.
The goal is, to be a great American, not to be a great Black American, right?
Right.
Versus in every other community, they are identifying with their race and ethnicity, their religious group.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
So when I think with the couple things coming together. Yes, our generation, in terms of the way we think, yeah, Gen X and the millennials, Gen Z, all having a different way of thinking than, like, we're not hiding things, right? From all things, from trauma in families, right? How we break these generational curses,
right?
From money, all the things that they didn't talk about or didn't share. We are loud and proud about it, but also you had the rise of social media and technology, right? We were one of the first generations online.
Yeah,
right? I remember going to the Xavier library so I could get on the web on Black Planet.
Black Planet.
You get on this website, Black Planet.
They didn't know about Black Planet.
Like, your top 8 friends, but you were connecting with people around the world. And for folks going away to college, it was a way now to stay connected to my friends at home, and when I go home, to stay connected to my friends in college. So then that thing starts growing exponentially for us in our community, and I think that's what we I know from our business. We've had to leverage that. We're like, wow, I can connect to people in Detroit, Michigan. I can connect to people in Saginaw. I can connect in Florida. I can connect in the UK right through my phone easily. And now maybe I can provide a product that they can buy.
That's right.
Or sell or support that's value to them. Right.
Yeah.
And utilizing all of that and showcasing everything we do. It has it's just a domino effect. And
I think also, like the older generation, when they kept quiet, it was like, I don't want to network with anybody. Like, I want to do everything by myself. I don't want to partner, right? No partnerships. It was kind of like, so like now the way he could lead, it could be another, not necessarily Black coffee, but it's another 20-year-old who is like, I really would love to have my own coffee company. I don't think he would hesitate 1 second, right, to say, let me show you how it works. Versus before, if you went to someone, it was like, you don't get out my face. Or no, this is my business. We've been doing this 50, 60 years. And, and it was like, well, dang. And then that's when a lot of, I think, Black people either didn't do anything, they didn't build their entrepreneurship background or their businesses, or they went outside the community because Black people were not helping Black people for so long because it was like, these are crabs in a bucket, you know? So versus now, I feel like that dynamic is starting to shift, which is exciting to see because we're like, no, the power in numbers is like, help us, I help you. You know, we're not even in the same industry, right? But hey, I know someone who knows someone, and you know someone who knows someone who's over here, and then they know someone. Now, then we just create a community of like 10, 15 people. And then those 15 lead to 35, lead to 100. And now we're like, oh, we just made a whole community by just doing this one thing. And it all started from a coffee company. And then just use an example, a podcast or whatever, you know. So I think that's where I'm excited to see even where 10 years from now, you know, like what happens.
They're doing in Detroit with Code 313. You know, you have to have a trailblazer, but then you have others that can navigate a path now. You got the labdrawer, you have the eumelanin, you can have Manf for success, right?
Yes.
And all these others that are, it's a similar path, but now it's not like, oh, I made it here and I got to hold them wax. They're going to take, no, by helping them come up, now we're going to all get a bigger,
that's right.
Get a bigger pot. We're going to get a bigger pot. And so that's, it's to like help people in coffee. It's every day. Anybody come in and get everything, everything you want to know about this business. Because you can't, well, God, for one, I believe what God has intended for you, no one can take. But also, it's like the only way we can only rise is together. In terms of this specific for my industry, people think like I'm in competition. I'm not in competition with anybody Black that's in this space because we need each other to rise. Working together, we can negotiate for better prices. We can share knowledge. We can help share any resources as well. Then we can rise together. Because there's so many demands for these cups. It's always going to keep on growing. And so this has been very self-fulfilling.
That's awesome. So was this is this like not being from here? Is this like a Black area?
So Lakewood Heights is a historic working class Black community.
Okay.
Long ago you had GM Motors. They operated a plant here. They since left decades ago. And so once the jobs left, so did the incomes, and the neighborhood suffered. So when we first came here, you could drive around, you could see so many abandoned buildings, houses, ransacked, just terrible. But you would see a new construction. You would keep going and see new construction and keep going. So every year it kept growing, and this neighborhood is rapidly gentrifying. Multiple developments coming up in the space, and for us it was just a great opportunity to get a foothold before
in the beginning.
Trying to get in.
Yeah. Now, what's up with this picture over here? Who decided and explain that photo?
So that photo is designed by Monica Gibbs. She is the portrait is called the Patriot. It is it says the iconic Malcolm X pose of him holding his rifle, looking out his window, and folks were racist and stuff, attacking him, straight trying to get him. But also the person that is Harriet Tubman.
That's what I was like, is that Harriet?
That's Harriet Tubman being depicted because at the time when she created this in 2018, you had the rise. The women's movement has had a resurgence. Also similar during the same period after that 45 to take that administration. He had really galvanized a lot of folks in our community to do something different. So the artist, she actually designed our logo.
Really?
This Black Coffee logo that we have trademarked. We reached out, we told her what we wanted to look like, how the elements wanted. She came, we went through multiple variations, but she came up with this.
I love it.
She's also the graphic designer that did Issa Rae's original production company, Issa Rae Production.
I can see that.
So I was like, oh, I like that. I found her on Facebook. Connected, never met. She did our logo, had her do our logo, multiple variations. Then she was an artist and wanted help with getting out her work, so we put it on our website. We had that on a t-shirt, we had that on mugs. That was back in 2019. Since it was a limited edition, so we don't sell it anymore, but it was a print that she wanted. And for me, it's just always been, my mama loved it, my godmother loved it, they all got prints of it. And it's just, for us to just continue to remind you, we are patriots, we are as American, we made this country, but still we have to be hyper vigilant to the realities of this world. Always a good reminder.
Yeah. So what's the future of Black Coffee? What are we going to see 25, 26 and beyond?
25, 26, well, I tell our team, guys, hey, strap in. We went from one coffee shop to two in a short period of time, but we're going to go from 2 to 4 even faster. Things are already in the works. There's a lot of opportunity for us. The way that everybody in this company, I would say, it was started by 5 men, Gino Jones, Christopher Bowden, Brandon Cole, Leonard Lightfoot, and myself. But this business is empowered by women. The women have taken charge of our business. It's outnumber us. So we have over, I say, just under 45 team members across the country.
Really?
In terms, mostly concentrated here in Atlanta, but we have team members in Washington D.C., team in the DMV area, team members in Houston and LA. And by far, it's like 70% women, 30% men.
Really?
And women in leadership have really taken the business to a new level. Thanks to my wife, she stepped up as our chief operating officer. She comes in with years of event planning and expertise that she brought to help us scale the business. Our shop managers, like I mentioned, her cousin Mercedes moved to Los Angeles to help run our Morehouse shop. So it's all about empowering and leveraging the talent that we have. The youth that we have now working for the team, they are so excited. They're coming to us with so many new ideas in terms of how coffee can connect to so many different generations of people. But yeah, multiple coffee shops continuing to offer our products in spaces that reflect us and celebrate us, and just trying to do good works and help other people grow and we can help.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you. So I thank you so very much. I'm excited, and I have my first espresso.
Filter. When you're doing the shot, I'm gonna show you. It's this little. It's called a porta filter. So the coffee goes in here. I'm gonna clean this one out. The coffee grounds go in this one. They're finer coffee grounds. It's really packed in here. And you push it into the espresso machine, which shoots out high pressure water. It comes out so it's a concentrated dust. So I'll show you when I pull it.
Okay.
Comes out brown coffee. So then you tamp it down with a tamper, such as this, to get it to a cup warm. Or we have an automatic one as well, that just tamps it down. So you come.
Oh, you move fast. I was like, wow, okay.
So now you take into your espresso machine, clear that. Lock it into place. So I'll use a clear one so you can see what happens. And then go for a single shot.
So the difference between that and a regular coffee is just the amount of filtering that's
The concentration.
The concentration.
So concentrated dust. So if you were to drink this versus a cup of coffee, you're going to get espresso and the type of coffee being used as well as a little more caffeine than you would get in a regular cup of coffee. That's why we got folks here that got espresso shot.
Just a little bit, just a little bit. Let me try this a little bit.
You recording?
I'm recording.
yes, definitely smells a lot stronger.
All right, let's see, y'all.
So let's mix it in so you get it.
I'm like, you do what you do.
Do you want me to record you actually drinking it?
No.
Nice, yummy. Oh, yeah, yummy.
I just took my whole